Some parents call it a reward, others a bribe. Is it okay to treat your kids for good behaviour or stop them from misbehaving? We took to the streets to find out what you think.
But sometimes if he hasn't eaten anything and I just want him to get something down, then I'd bribe him, but not with anything too bad, probably a biscuit or some yoghurt.
Well, I try not to, but yeah, sometimes you hold out for the good stuff if you can, but yeah, try not to.
Oh, it depends. I mean, if they don't clean up their room, we're not going to go to Luna Park.
The little one that I do, yeah, mostly treat, ice cream, but you know, it's last measures, I suppose.
I don't bribe my children with sweets or TV. No is no, yes is yes.
Oh, she'd scare me too. Great advice. We crossed to Brisbane's Courier Mail parenting blogger Felicity Moore. Good morning, Felicity.
Hi, Kerri-anne.
Well, I just heard that very strong woman. I don't bribe my kids, but James has emailed us, and James says, in my opinion, there's no problem at all with using incentives. Teaches them negotiation and the give and take mentality. How do you respond to James?
Well, if we really want to badly enough, we can justify just about anything, I find. But bribing your children is really not the best way to raise kids. It sends a bad message. It teaches them that, as James pointed out, things are up for negotiation. It doesn't teach them that good behaviour is its own reward. You need to behave well in church or at Great Aunt Mildred's because this is what's expected of you, not as a maturing child, not because you're going to get a donut at the end of it or a Wii game or a DS game or whatever. It's just not the way to go.
But as one woman pointed out, it is a bit of a last resort. So is there any negotiation from your point of view? Is it full stop, no bribing, or there's, you know, a little bit of leeway there?
Well, there is a little bit of leeway. This topic's in the news at the moment because of a study that's come out in America where a researcher has a long-range program where he's paid a lot of students under various motivational schemes to achieve well at school, paying your kids for good grades. For the right child in the right circumstance, there can be a good reason to add incentive for better behaviour. But there's a difference between a reward and a bribe, and parents need to be clear in their own minds exactly what they're doing. A reward is something that comes up after the good behaviour has happened or after the good event has happened and is unexpected by the child. It's also in proportion with what the good behaviour is. A bribe is promised before the good job is undertaken and is usually only in proportion to how desperate the parent is. So if you're going to Great Aunt Mildred's for Sunday lunch...
out there going, I'm desperate. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out the difference between an incentive and a bribe. But Libby from Tweed Head says the hardest thing is trying to get the grandparents not to bribe the kids. They mean well, but they can undo a lot of good work. So what do you say to grandparents out there?
Well, there's 2 points to make about that. I mean, grandparents are magical creatures, in my view, that are there to be all wonderful things for their grandchildren. And I think the rules of parenting are suspended for grandparents. That's my view. But for grandparents and parents to work together raising children is really, if you're raising young children and trying very hard not to motivate them with incentives like biscuits at the end of dinner or, you know, good behaviour gets an ice cream, then be clear with the parent and the grandparent. Have a clear line of communication about how you're going to raise your children. But really, parents should lighten up because grandparents are allowed to do whatever they want.
Ooh, okay. If it's been a habit, behaviour in your household for a while and you recognise perhaps it's getting out of hand, how do you wean the kids off the bribery or incentive?
Okay, well, the first step is that parents need to understand whether they're bribing or rewarding. You need to have it clear in your head, am I doing this to teach them to extend themselves? I mean, that's the key issue with a bribe, is that, for example, if you want to teach your Year 8 student, you want to turn your Year 8 solid B student into an A student, then you say, all right, well, I'll give you $50 or a trip to Dreamworld or whatever if you come up with an A in this subject where you've consistently only gotten a B. A bribe extends a child's capabilities. A bribe is above and beyond the regular everyday activities. And that's when a bribe can be good. A reward is for good behaviour that's done as a matter of course. They've gone and brushed their teeth without asking, they've put their dinner plates in the kitchen without asking, those sorts of things. That's when you can reward good behaviour. But children, the essential key for a reward is don't tell them that it's coming. They shouldn't be expecting it, and it needs to be proportional to the job. So don't give $100 when a Freddo Frog will do the trick. That's important. Second of all, you need to scale back where you're motivating your kids. So, for example, eat your veggies because it makes you big and strong, because it keeps you healthy, because it helps you stop being sick. Don't eat your veggies because I'm giving you ice cream at the end of it. That's the important thing to remember.
Actually, you've got to use moderate behaviour and be logical and be consistent.
Yes.
Terrific. Well, listen, Felicity, thank you very much. Always entertaining. Good morning.
Thanks, Kerri-anne.
Felicity Moore from Brisbane there. OK, coming up, freezing foods, everything